Greetings, hello everybody, and welcome back to the middle of the order for one more episode. If you're listening to this, this is the third episode that has been released today on our in the middle of the order here. We had our normal episode, and of course we had our TOP for the Mets. Now here we are with another TOP, the third and final episode of the day, don't worry, for the Boston Red Sox. We're talking about the Sox here. And if you're here for the third episode and you've listened through the other two already, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. But let's dive right on in here and talk about the Boston Red Sox here and the 2024 season ahead of them. And definitely going to be an interesting one. Last year, they were 78 and 84. They finished 11th in runs scored, yet 21st in ERA and runs allowed. That slot them that is for 5th place in the AL East division. They were 10th in the AL overall and 20th in MLB. They should have been having my English is a little bit off today. Oh, lele. I guess all these episodes coming out all at once. They have the 12th pick in the MLB draft. They should have had the 12th picks. They don't lose any spots or gain any spots throughout the draft lottery is what I'm trying to say. Who is a new Boston Red Sox? Might be one of the questions you're wondering. Tyler O'Neill. They acquired him from the Cardinals. Vaughn Grissom. They acquired him from the Braves, the young shortstop second baseman. Lucas Giolito and Liam Hendricks, former White Sox. They played together for a long time. Both of them coming over to Boston. You love a little White Sox to Red Sox action. There was one player I can think of besides these two who was a White Sox and came over to the Red Sox, and his name was Chris Sale, and he was on the team last year, and he is not on the team this year as he is off to Atlanta. That's part of the trade that they got for Vaughn Grissom. Other players they lost: Adam Duvall, gone. James Paxton, gone. Justin Turner, gone. Luis Urias, I forgot they made that trade. He's gone. John Schreiber, another trade they made with the Royals. He's out of there. Alex Verdugo, that one might sting a little bit. He's a New York Yankee now. He's gone. And then Corey Kluber did retire as well. So a lot of names that you know. These are all guys who I would say, these are MLB dudes. And they're all gone. Boston, this offseason, they were a trading team for sure. Besides those two signings of Giolito and Hendricks, they made 6 total trades where they traded away players like Verdugo, like Sale, like Schreiber, like Urias. They made one, the Cardinals. They did the Braves. They did the Royals. They did the Mariners. Did I mention the Yankees? There's another one, and there was one other one that I can't think off the top of my head right now. But 6 total trades from Boston this offseason. They weren't big spenders, but they did make a lot of moves to this team. And let's see how they'll pay off as we start talking about that starting rotation. Fangraphs has newly acquired Lucas Giolito as the ace of that staff. He's had a couple of bumpy years as of late. Nick Pivetta in the 2, Brian Bello, Cutter Crawford pitching 4th in the rotation, and then Tanner Hyuk rounds that rotation off. I hope I pronounced that right. I've always heard it Hyuk on TV when I watch Boston games. The bullpen, some notable names here that you know: Kenley Jansen, the closer, who was a part of a lot of trade rumors this offseason. Chris Martin's one of the guys that Boston has that has been doing it for the last couple of years now. He's a good guy there. Garrett Whitlock, and Josh Winchowski. John Winchowski. It's a fun name to pronounce. And some other guys in the later half of that bullpen there. The lineup is definitely the spot where you want to be if you are a Boston fan. This lineup is good, at least very top-heavy. 3 guys who have been with Boston, some young guys. Jarren Duran leading things off for Red Sox fans here in center field. Then batting second, the third baseman, superstar Rafael Devers, one of the game's best right now. Batting third, it is first baseman Tristan Casas, finished third in Rookie of the Year voting. That's 3 lefties to start the lineup. I don't know if I like that. Trevor Story, he's back to the shortstop position finally. bats fourth. Masataka Yoshida, the DH, batting fifth. Tyler O'Neill in left field. Wilyer Abreu in right field, bats seventh. Vaughn Grissom playing second base, according to Fangraphs, batting eighth. And then Connor Wong, the catcher, who bats ninth. That bench has Reese McGuire as the backup catcher. Emmanuel Valdez as the infielder here. Bobby Dahlback, platoon righty potentially, and then Rob Refsnyder as that backup outfielder. Taking a look at those injuries, two guys come to note and to name here. Of course, one being Liam Hendricks. They signed him to a 2-year deal, but he did get Tommy John surgery late last year, so he is questionable for the entire 2024 season. While another guy, Brian Mata, who is a relief pitcher in the Boston staff here, he's questionable for opening day. He had a sprained hamstring just a couple days ago, and as of recording this, it was yesterday, but by the time this is coming out, he pulled a strained hamstring there during a spring training game, so he is listed questionable for opening day as well. If we look now, what are we doing next? The free agents for next year is where I go usually. And there's a couple names here that are interesting. Kenley Jansen and Chris Martin both come off the books after this year. That's the best two relief pitchers they have. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Other guys include Nick Pivetta and Tyler O'Neill as they finish off arbitration and will be heading to free agency for the first time in their careers. Overall, Boston's done a couple of interesting moves, of course. Trading away Sale's a big one. He's been there really for a long time now when you think about it. Obviously, his prime was with the White Sox, but he is a World Series champion. Boston did win it in 2018 when he struck out Manny Machado to beat the Dodgers. I forget Machado was a Dodger that year. That's crazy. That was a wild postseason. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about this Boston team and some of the guys that you know. And one guy did mention Tristan Casas, Rookie of the Year, placed third in his first full season with the Red Sox here. Played 132 games, 113 hits, a 263 batting average, an 856 OPS, 24 home runs for the club. That is a good number and a good stat line for your first official year in the majors. He's a power hitting first baseman, so he's a young kid. There's a high ceiling, and if he kind of has a good 2024 campaign, we could be talking about this guy is getting up into the categorization of the best first baseman in the game currently. The one thing I do want to just kind of worry about too is that we have seen this before, where a player in their first year has a great first year, and then the sophomore slumps come to town and knock him down. I'm not saying this is the case for Tristan Casas, but it is something to be worried about, especially when they'll be in a top-heavy AL East. Of course, one player who that's never bothered, Rafael Devers, the best Boston Red Sox player by far, a 2018 World Series champion. He was there. 2 times All-Star, 2 times Silver Slugger. I forget this guy was already in the league in 2017 at the age of 20. He's going to be 27 this year, his entire 7-year career with Boston. He's always been in the talks for MVP voting. He's one of the game's best third basemen, but of course it's a very loaded position. Last year played 153 games, 157 hits, 33 home runs, 271 batting average, and 851 OPS. He is a pure hitter, and he is a good one at that. And another pure hitter that we got to see in his rookie year last year, Masataka Yoshida. Remember when Boston paid this guy and everyone was thinking, are you sure about that? Because what are we doing? They gave him $90 million for 5 years, and after last season, I think Boston fans are now happier about the deal, because at the time they were not. He finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting, played 140 games, 155 hits, a 289 batting average, and a 783 OPS, 15 home runs. And he was good. He looked good when I saw him. He came to town once or twice. I got to see him play. And he is a ball player. He's a good center fielder, good outfielder there. Obviously, they have some better defensive guys, so that's why Fangraphs has him listed as the DH. But I'm sure he'll find some time out there in the outfield as well. But I think those home run numbers might get a boost. I think he can maybe go for 20 here. But he is up there in a little bit in age. He's going to be turning 30 this year, so we'll see how that goes in his second year in his major league stint with the Red Sox here. One guy who I would love, or two guys really, who need to bounce back. And these are going to be guys who are key for Boston's success, if they have any, this year. The first one being Lucas Giolito. And this is a guy for me who I love. Lucas Giolito, I think, is a great starting pitcher. One-time All-Star, and that was in 2019. He was very good, and that's kind of when he kind of brought his game to life, really. I think that was the year he got his no-hitter in as well. I'm not sure if that was 2019 or 2020. 2019, he had 3 complete games and 2 shutouts, so I'm assuming it had to be in 2019. One of those was the no-hitter. Very good. 2020, he finished 7th in Cy Young voting. He finished 6th in Cy Young voting in 2019. And then 2021, he finished 11th in Cy Young voting. All those years, ERA is about 3.5, 3.4. Then 2022 happened, and that was where he kind of started rocking the boat. Not only did he did, but so did the White Sox. A 4.9 ERA that year. And then last year, his ERA finished with 4. It was okay with the White Sox sitting at 3.8. They then traded him to the Angels, where in 6 games it wasn't, and it was a 6.89. They cut him loose, a little bit after when their whole push at the deadline thing goes awry. The Guardians claim him, and he's even worse there in 6 games, a 7.04 ERA. So the last 2 years, pretty, kind of want to erase those from the books. He led the league in home runs given up last year with 41. So, for Lucas, all the best finding himself again, hopefully getting able to find that 2019 form that he had. I think it'll help him a little bit that the team is a little bit better, from the White Sox and their offensive struggles to the Angels and how much they struggled, and to the Guardians. The Guardians are a pitching team. They have guys who like Jose Ramirez who are there and some nice offensive pieces. But I think, this might be the best offensive team besides those 2019, 2020 White Sox that Lucas Giolito has been on in the last 2-3 years. So I think that will benefit him, hopefully, and he'll be able to kind of bounce back a little bit into form where he is a good pitcher. And speaking of good players, Trevor Story, one last guy to talk about here and discuss here. He's been hurt. He's had his issues with, ever since coming over and signing with Boston. In the 2 years, so 2022 and 2023, he only played 137 games. So he hasn't even played a, really close to a full season in 2 years with Boston. Like 137 games, you're still missing a good 20-ish games or so, nearly a good month of baseball. Last year with Boston, he did, struggle again. In 43 games, he had 32 hits, a 203 batting average, and a 566 OPS, and only had 3 home runs. And I mean, that's not the Trevor Story I remember from Colorado. Let's just say that. Colorado Trevor Story was putting up 35, 37 home runs a year when he was an all-star in 2018 and 2019. Even the first year he was with Boston, he only had 16 home runs. The last time Trevor Story hit 20 or more home runs was 2021 with the Colorado Rockies. And yes, you could say the Coors effect is much different than the Fenway effect, and I would 100% agree with you. But Trevor Story is definitely a better ball player than we've seen him be with Boston the last 2 years. Possibly because he's been at second base. Obviously, the injuries haven't played a helpful part in that either, as he's missed a lot of time. But I truly think having Story come back to being a shortstop and a pure shortstop player will benefit him, and in general benefit the team. I think he, you try him at second base, it doesn't work, that's fine. He is a shortstop. You bring him back, and you have Vaughn Grissom to play second base. I love that. We've seen that a lot recently with like shortstops being second basemen also. We saw that with Tim Anderson in the World Baseball Classic, and that one worked out pretty well. We've seen it here with Trevor Story in the Red Sox, and that one worked out poorly. And now the Padres are trying it with Xander Bogaerts playing second base. They sent Tatis from shortstop to right field. So, if you're a shortstop right now, that's a huge position. A lot of great players, and they'll be like basically just turn you on the other side of the field and make you play second base. And Granted, it might work for some players, but I think Story's one of those guys that he needs to be a shortstop. He was brought up as a shortstop, and it makes sense that he's going to be able to go back and play shortstop for the Boston Red Sox this year. But yeah, as a whole, you look at the roster. I mean, it's gotta be weird that Alex Verdugo's a Yankee. And like, if you're a Boston Red Sox fan and you're listening to this, let me know in the comments. But how do you feel about that? You traded away Mookie Betts for Alex Verdugo, and now not only was Jeter Downs, who was the shortstop that you also got in the trade, if I'm remembering my trades correctly. Not only was he a Yankee for a short amount of time, but now Alex Verdugo, who was supposed to replace, or not replace, obviously you can't replace the value that Mookie Betts had. But now he's a Yankee now? Like, that's a tough one. And Justin Turner went to the Blue Jays, and Chris Sale's not there anymore, and James Paxton's could be a winner on the Dodgers. No. I mean, when you look at who they lost versus what they added, if I was a Boston fan, I wouldn't be too pleased, but hey, let's not give Tyler O'Neill discredit here, because he was a nice ball player for the Red Sox at one point. He finished 8th in MVP voting in 2021. That I do not remember. 2-time Gold Glover. It's going to be interesting to see how he does out there in left field with the Fenway Wall. He's definitely missed a little bit of time with injuries the last couple of years. He hasn't played 100 games. He's only played 100 games once in his career, and that was in 2021, where he was 8th in MVP voting. But outside of that, from 2018 to 2023, every year, 50 games, 61 games, 86 or 96, 72. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. I didn't actually know that about Tyler O'Neill, but yet he's still a 2-time Gold Glove winner. Well, of course, one of the 50s was COVID, so that was actually a full season. 50 is, yeah. That is my bad. But, yeah, Tyler O'Neill, if he can stay healthy, what do you get out of him? He's a powerful bat, his batting average isn't going to fly off any numbers, but his home runs, they can get up there. He had 34 home runs. Granted, that was in 2021, of course. And it's been 3 years since that, so what do you get out of Tyler O'Neill? What do you get out of the kid, Vaughn Grissom? That's a quick thing we can bring up really quickly here. He came into the league 2022 at the age of 21, a little bit young, granted, and he struggled, by no one's surprise. Last year, Braves gave him another little small opportunity towards the end of the year, also struggled. So far in his 2 years, in his little stints with the Braves, 64 games, a 746 OPS, a 287 batting average, and 5 home runs. So, more consistent playing time is definitely going to help him out. I think he has that potential. He has a ceiling. And that's what Boston has. It's a bunch of guys who has potentials and high ceilings. But when you're comparing potential to actual talent that the Yankees have, that the Blue Jays have, that Baltimore has endless amounts of young players with so much talent, potential, and just overall just baseball abilities that I'm sorry, Boston, but this is gonna be kind of a rough year for you guys. You were 5th in the AL last year, in the AL East. I'd expect the same thing. I mean, no offense, but you guys didn't really get better. I mean, you lost Verdugo and Duvall, 2 good outfielders, for Tyler O'Neill, sure. James Paxton gone, Kluber retired, Chris Sale gone. You get Lucas Giolito, sure. Luis Urias, Justin Turner, those guys are out. You get Vaughn Grissom, and then you sign Hendricks, and he's injured this year. I mean, yeah, I don't know, Boston. Let me know how you guys are feeling entering this year. I'm not too confident on Boston's chances and the upside they have for 2024. The over-under is at 79.5, which is a fair over and under, considering there were 78 wins last year, and the new scheduling that they had, last year, I think, or 2 years ago even maybe now, where you're guaranteed to play every team, that helps out. Because, listen, is Boston a good team in the AL East? Not really, no. But are they a good team against other like teams in other divisions? Absolutely. There was a point, and I said this in a lot of episodes, especially about middle of the season last year, where I was saying Boston, who is last in the AL East, is the best team in the AL Central. I would take Boston's team over the Twins, over the Guardians, Tigers, Royals, White Sox, whoever you want there. I would take them over the Angels. You can really debate Boston with Seattle, like a good Boston team versus a mediocre, things aren't clicking for Seattle. Those are pretty close, So I think it doesn't help that Boston's in the AL East, and a lot of their games will be against those teams. But yeah, 79.5. It's a very close line, but for being last in division, you're not going to win 80 games and be last in your division. And if that is the case, I'd be shocked. Give me the under on Boston, and good luck for you guys in 2024. Let's get Trevor Story and Lucas Giolito right. Yeah, let's make that the storylines that I want. And another strong year for Masataka Yoshida. That's my hopes for Boston. But yeah, that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. And that's going to do it for our TOPs for week 1. 10 teams down, 20 to go. We got 10 more next week, and then 10 more the following week. Baseball's getting close, guys. By the time you're listening to this, less than 30 days away. We're in March. It is March 1st today. Yes, it is March 1st today. So yeah, baseball is here. It's baseball month, March 1st. So let's get excited for that. Thank you, everybody, so much. And I will see you guys next week.